George Washington was chosen to be commander-in-chief based on his previous military experience and the hope that a leader from Virginia could help unite the colonies. George Washington asked not to receive pay because he only asked that his expenses be reimbursed at the end of the war. The Declaration of Independence was signed July 4th, 1776. The goal of it was to effectively state independence from Britain and to list grievances against the British Crown. Thomas Jefferson was asked to help draft the Declaration of Independence, and the Declaration of Independence helped other countries, especially the French, during the French Revolution. The Articles of Confederation were written November 15, 1777, but was ratified March 1, 1781. The purpose of the Articles was to provide a general government for the 13 colonies that had won British freedom. The realistic outcome of the Articles was that it created a loose confederation of the sovereign states and a weak central government, leaving most of the power with the state governments. The Treaty of Alliance with France was because the French and the Americans wanted to create a military alliance to fight against Great Britain. This is a picture of the Treaty of Alliance with France. The Congress sent Silas Deane to France as a secret commercial agent to see if he could make arrangements for the purchase of military supplies on terms of credit. The treaty was signed February 6, 1778. This is an image of the Treaty of Paris being signed. The Treaty of Paris was signed September 3, 1783 in Maryland State House. But 1782, the Provisional Articles were signed at Paris on 30th of November to conclude the crown of British rule in the U.S. The three Americans that were involved in the signing of the treaty were John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and John Jay. The article that was most important to the Americans of the treaty was Article 7, and it talks about peace with the British, but they have no rule over the U.S. The primary goal of the treaty was that it ended the Revolutionary War between the U.S. and the British and established borders for a new nation. The British that were represented at the signing was David Hartley, represented all of Britain and King George II. The authors of the Federalist Papers are shown are Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay. There were 85 essays on the Federalist Papers. Alexander Hamilton wrote 52, James Madison wrote 28, and John Jay wrote 5. All essays were signed Publius, but the true authors were the following 3. This is an actual image of the Federalist Papers. All of the papers were signed Publius, and it is Latin for public. The importance of essay number 84 is that Hamilton explains the importance of nobility and that nobility is imperative. This may truly be denominated the cornerstone of a republican government. A Federalist means a supporter of the federal government and a supporter of the U.S. Constitution. This is a picture of the constitutions of the United States. The Constitution would take full effect once it had been ratified by 9 of the 13 state legislatures. Ratify means sign or give formal consent to a treaty, contract, or constitution, making it officially valid. The first state was Delaware, and they decided to ratify on December 7th, 1787. New Hampshire ratified June 22nd, 1787, and they were the last state to ratify. The central government had more power because it had good checks and balances that represented the people, otherwise known as the Senate. The problem with who had more power was the Senate was considered unfair and unjust to several groups of people. If you ever see George Washington as commander-in-chief during a war or a battle, you will almost always see him sitting on top of a white horse. If he is not, he is either near one or there is no picture of the white horse at all. Another fun fact is that the Articles of Confederation led to the Constitution of the United States. The articles didn't say all the statements that the Constitution was made to say, thus the reason of making for the Constitution. The Declaration of Independence was signed July 4th, 1776. One fun fact about the Declaration is that the anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence is called the 4th of July. It's most likely known as the 4th of July because it's the anniversary of the signing, and usually on every 4th of July, the whole American nation celebrates with fireworks and cookouts with families and friends to celebrate the independence of America. Almost all American schools are required to say the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance states, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." The Pledge of Allegiance reminds us of our independence and unity, and that we are all under God and indivisible.